Beautiful, beautiful. So just delighted to be here. And I don't want to waste time. I want to jump right in so we maximize and stay on schedule. So again, I just want to say hi to all of you. I've also done the strategic retreat for pathways there in Toledo. So again, just all over state of Texas. And again, I come there even as on vacation, just enjoy my time. Hocking Hills. I love to go hiking in Hocking Hills. And I just left a few weeks. It was maybe about a month ago. I was in other side of Hocking Hills. I forget the city, but we spoke to Ohio Association of Executives out that way. So just wonderful state and just glad to be here. So again, thank you, Yvonne, from the bottom of my heart. It's a pleasure to meet you. I know we'll be working together. Wonderful president. To Sharon, my dear friend, thank you so much for having me. I want to dive right in. So what I'm going to do is a couple things, just say a few things so we get on track. The first thing I want all of you to do is make sure that your volume is at level 1000 so that you can hear me clearly. I'm already as high as I can go in the training and by audio. So please turn up your volumes wherever you are. I want you to get the maximum impact out of the training we'll have today. The second thing I want to say is that this training is pre-recorded. It's going to run for about 50 to 55 minutes. I promise you it won't be a dull moment. It is power packed. This is not going out to YouTube to grab a video. That's wonderful. But what has been captured in this video is power, energy, as I have delivered it. So it's not just a video. I really feel you will feel the impact. May feel like I'm coming through the screen sometime as I teach. So I think that'll keep it very, very at a heightened level. It won't be a dull moment until we're done. And you'll be surprised if you fully engage and take notes and observe. You'll be amazed at how fast the time will go. It won't feel like that 50 minutes. It'll feel like less. When we're done, I've got some questions I'm going to seed to you. We kind of discuss the content as Yvonne and Sharon has asked. I'm here, and then we can talk however long you want. I'll have a couple questions to kind of start the conversation, but certainly you feel free to respond and answer or discuss anything you would like. I'm here. By the way, even though I cut off my camera, I want you to know I'm here. I'm not in the basement hitting golf balls. I'm sitting right here in this training with you because listen, I learn twice. I learn when I learn and I learn again when I teach and I listen. So I sit in my own presentations right alongside you and I learn and I even extract new things out of my own teaching as I go along. It really is very, very impactful. So again, without any further ado, I'm going to share my screen. And I'm just going to make sure that you guys can see it and make sure I have my chat up. So I want to ask, can we see that screen? You can just chime in, this moving screen. Are we okay on that?
Yes.
All right, beautiful. There's your logo there. Video is right here. Okay, we're good. Now I'm just going to pull my chat back up over here on this side so I can kind of watch and then watch the chat. And so what you can do is I'll let it play. You probably want to kind of get the best out of this and really get into the training. However, I am here. If you want to make a point or say, Adam, that really resonated with me, or a little click, I will be watching the chat window throughout the presentation. And that will also let you know that I'm here, even if I've cut off my camera. So feel free, if you want to send me a message or chat, feel free to do so. I will respond. Again, not trying to type too loud or be distractive as it goes along. And then again, we'll have this session for discussion. So without any further ado, I've got my chat window up. I've got the screens over on the side. I can see that Yvonne's still on with her lovely face. That's wonderful. And all of you. So let's get started. We're talking about, in this session, we're going to teach on the art of servant leadership, the pathway to greatness. And within that, as Yvonne has requested, we've combined in there some things about managing change in this new normal. So it's a hybrid we put together to really just strike these areas. And I just want to say one thing about servant leadership. This doesn't come out in the training. A lot of people associate leadership to a title or position. I don't want you to make that mistake. So because you see the word servant leadership, that doesn't mean it's not you because you're not in a leadership position. You may be, but if you are not, I want you to understand something. You are a servant leader. And that's all I'll say. The training will teach you all about that. So don't be mistaken by it just being all about a titled position. That's not what this is. We're talking truly about the principles of leadership, servant leadership, managing change. And I really think there'll be something we can take away. All right, I'm going to shut my mouth. I'm going to start the presentation. I will come back in the end You got your volumes up. Let's get started with it.
Hey there, this is Adam White, founder of Adam White Speaks, Adam Empowers, and Adam White University. And I'm delighted to see you inside this session. In this session, we're going to be talking about the art of servant leadership. And yes, it's an art. It's not just a science. It's an art to develop the ability to become a servant leader. And servant leadership is the pathway to greatness. It's how we achieve greatness and get to the journey and the destination of greatness by simply serving others. So I got some great content in this session for you. I know that you're going to enjoy it. Now, if you're watching this as part of a training session or a motivational Monday with your organization, I want to say thank you for joining. I'm glad that you're here. If you're watching this as part of my members for Adam White University, I want to thank you for joining and being a part of Adam White University. Now, if you're not a part of Adam White University, I encourage you to go over and visit Adam White Speaks and check out Adam White University, where you can get great trainings like we're going to have today, delivered right to your members area, 2 brand new trainings every single month. And so you can learn more about that maybe towards the end of this session. But anyway, I want to dive right in. I don't want to waste any time. We are talking about, again, in this session, the art of servant leadership, the pathway that will take us to greatness. Let's get started. I want to start off talking about servant leadership. Servant leadership. A servant leader shares power. They don't hoard power. They don't keep power all to themselves. They know how to share power. Just because they're in a position and a place of authority doesn't mean that they have to have all the power. So the first lesson I want you to draw from this slide is a servant leader shares power. A servant leader puts the needs of others before themselves. Now that's powerful. You don't have a leader that says, look, I want all the attention. I want all the credit. I want to make all the decisions. No, a servant leader put the needs of others first. A servant leader exists to develop people. Look, that is the purpose and the sole base for their existence. They don't exist for no other reason other than to build and develop people. My friend, if you are a servant leader, you're all about building and developing people. And that's the purpose for your leadership. That's why you exist. Now, this last one is very powerful. A servant leader has found something for which to live, and if necessary, to die for. My friend, I know that's you. You found something purpose. You found a purpose in your work, a purpose in your life, a purpose in what you do. And listen, it is something that look, if necessary, you're willing to die for. I could not help but think about Dr. Martin Luther King, who is featured in this slide, who gave his life fighting for the civil rights of African Americans. Other people, he gave up his life. So Dr. Martin Luther King was a servant leader. So again, a servant leader has found something for which to live, and if necessary, to die for. Man, so powerful. Let's talk about service principles. Service principles. If you are a servant leader and your role, remember, servant leadership doesn't mean a title or position. This is who you are. You bring servant leadership to your role and position in the organization. You bring servant leadership to your family. So if you're a service-driven person and you are service-driven and focused, you are going to focus and help to improve people in 2 areas, in growth and improvement. Either you're helping people to grow or you are helping them to improve when you are a service-driven person. Let's look at growth. If you were service driven, you're helping people to grow in a new attitude, grow in a new belief, grow in a new skill. They grow in a new perspective. They gain a new perspective being under servant leadership. They grow in a new idea. They get some new ideas and concepts because they have been under a servant leader. They grow in a new mindset. It's so powerful. Now, over on the improvement side, you're helping people to get better. Oh man, I know that's you. You're helping people to feel more inspired. You're helping people by empowering them. Remember, we said a leader does not hoard power. A servant leader shares power. You're improving them to become more healthier. They might have been sick in their mind or sick in their body or sick in their emotions. You've helped them to feel healthier. You're helping them to get wiser. They've got more wisdom and knowledge because they have been under your servant leadership. You're helping them to become stronger. That is so powerful. So either you're helping them to grow or to improve if you are a service-driven person and you are a servant leader. Now, You may ask me, Adam, what is the proof of service and servant leadership? How can I tell? What is the gauge? If I was to analyze or measure my life and my work, how can I gauge if I'm a servant leader? My friend, I've got the answer for you in one sentence. It's a trail of people behind the leader that are better off than when the leader came. Man, that is so powerful. Look at that picture. You see that leader out front, and look at all those people that are standing in line. They are stronger. They are better. My friend, that's what a servant leader does. So if you want to test your leadership, if you want to test that you're a person that serves others, there should be a trail of people behind you, my friend, that are better off than when you came. They are stronger. They are wiser. They are more improved. They are better in every area of their life. They have grown in a new mindset and a new belief. That's what a servant leader does, my friend. I know that's you. Servant leadership. It is simply a trail of people behind that leader that is better than when that leader came. So powerful. I want to talk to you about contribution, one of my favorite subjects. Look at that cemetery, picture of a cemetery. Life is not measured by duration, my friend. Life is measured by donation. It doesn't matter how long you have been in your position. It doesn't matter how long you have lived in this life, but it's what you have given. It is what you have donated in the time that you've been here. It's not how long. I've been in this role for 40 years. But what have you given in the time you've been in that role? That is what defines and measures the quality and the value of your life. We're talking about servant leadership today, the art of servant leadership. And you have to understand this concept. That cemetery where people have died and they have donated nothing to this life. They left nothing behind. They haven't poured themselves. So look, when you are a servant leader, you pour yourself into the next generation. You pour yourself into the next people that are coming behind you, into your children, into your community. You donate your life. That makes you a servant leader, my friend. So again, don't miss this slide. Life is not measured by duration. It is measured by donation. Now, let's talk about contribution then. The highest form of leadership, my friend, is contribution. Now, in all of us, it starts with a human need. Now, if you're familiar with Maslow's hierarchy of needs, there are 6 human needs that all of us have. So one of those needs is called contribution. It means that we want to contribute in life to something that is greater than ourselves. So contribution starts with our own internal human needs. So not only are we serving people as a servant leader or a service person, but we also are fulfilling our own internal human need when we begin to contribute. So it starts with a human need. Now watch this. The human need then becomes a purpose. It becomes our purpose. We now have a greater purpose to our life, a greater meaning to our life, because it's not just a need in us now. We have turned that need into our life purpose. The next thing, when the purpose has graduated, it becomes a cause. And now I have a cause for living. I have a reason for waking up and going to work every day. I have a reason for what I do. So now the purpose has moved into a cause. Now the next level, cause, moves into movement. So now you've got people. Now watch, between cause and movement is where people start to follow your leadership. People start to become attracted to you because now a purpose went to a cause, and a cause now has become a movement. You have people that are moving in the same direction, that want what you want, that think like you think, that's going after the same things you're going after. So now, hey, cause, my friend, has become now a movement. So powerful. The next is a movement then allows us to make a greater impact in life. We start impacting and making a difference in the lives of others. Isn't that what we're about? Changing lives, making a difference. That's what this is about. So movement now, a group of people that says, listen, we've got to make a greater impact. And finally, after you have given a greater impact, you can now contribute. You can donate yourself to this cause. You can donate yourself to life itself. So my friend, don't miss this slide. You'll get a copy. It's so powerful. So again, it starts within us, a human need. That need becomes a greater purpose within us. That purpose then graduates and it becomes a cause now. We have a reason for our life. The cause moves then into a movement. We start attracting people that are moving in the same direction as us. And that movement then becomes impact. We're able to make an impact in the lives of others. And finally, we're able to contribute. I have contributed to this life. I have donated what I was supposed to donate. I've donated myself to this generation, and so now my life is fulfilled. If I die today, I have completed my life assignment. Oh my God, such a powerful slide. We've got to move on. Now, I want you to say these vows with me. I'm going to put them on the screen. And listen, I know that it's a virtual webinar. I know you may not be in the room with me, but you can see me through the camera. And I may not be able to hear you, but that's okay. I want you to say these vows that will bring some energy into your life, bring some motivation into your life, and help you to understand how important you are. Are you ready? Let's say it together. I matter. My work matters. My contributions matter. I am making a difference. I want you to say it until it gets in your heart and your spirit. Let's say it again. I matter. My work matters. My contributions matter. I am making a difference. Come on. Now say it with me one more time. This time I want you to blow the roof off of where you are. I want you to say it like you really mean it. I matter. My work matters. My contributions matter. I am making a difference. Oh my God, friend, I hope you got a hold to that right there. This is what it's all about right here, that you matter. Your work matters. Listen, my friend, your contributions matter, and you are making a difference in the lives of others. I didn't mean to go motivational on you, but that's a powerful slide. Let's move on now. Let's talk about leadership paradigm shift. This is so important. Now here you're seeing the traditional leadership model. I want you to notice in a traditional leadership model, the leader is at the top. This model is power driven. I don't want you to miss this because a lot of organizations and associations are functioning in this one right here. It is called the traditional leadership model. Again, the leader is at the top. Now watch this. That leader is power reliant. Oh my God, don't miss it. This leader has to have power. The higher I go up the corporate ladder, the more power that I get. That is how I rely on power to be successful. They are power reliant. They are not successful unless they have power. I have to control everything. I have to be in charge of everything. They are power reliant. Now watch this. As a result, the leadership team commands and control. They learned it from that power reliant leader. So they don't help. They just command and control. Sit down, be quiet, do what I say. It's just like a classroom. So the leadership team now commands and control. Watch what happens then. Supervisors and frontline managers reflects the culture and the attitude of the leader. My God, this is where disengagement comes from. Managers and frontline supervisors are reflecting the attitude of a power reliant leader. Is that your organization? I hope not, my friend, because many organizations operate in this way right here. Watch this. Customer-facing roles and frontline employees, they see employees as tools. They're not human. They're just a tool to get the job done. This is the traditional model, my friend. And finally, customers are all the way at the bottom, and they see customers as challenges. Have you ever had a supervisor or manager say, how do we solve this customer challenge? Have you ever heard that before? That comes from this traditional model. So again, in the traditional model, it is power driven. Number one, it is at the top, led by a power reliant leader. Number two, the leadership team commands and controls. The supervisors and frontline managers reflects the culture and the attitude of the leader. Customer facing roles and frontline employees, they see employees as tools. They're not human. They're just a tool to get the job done. And finally, the customers are all the way at the bottom. They see customers as challenges. Oh my God, don't miss this. Now this next slide is the servant leadership model. I don't want you to miss this. Now this model, it takes the traditional model and it turns it upside down on its head. So it is not now power driven. Watch this. It is purpose driven. And if you notice, the customers now are at the top. Now watch what happens. They see customers as valued allies and stakeholders. So they're not just a challenge to them anymore. They see them as valued allies and stakeholders. The customer facing roles and the frontline employees, they see employees as partners and resources. Is that how you see your employees, my friend? If you're a leader and you're listening to this, if you're a manager, you're a supervisor, you have to begin to see employees as partners and resources and not as a tool just to get the job done. Supervisors and frontline managers, they have two-way conversations, not just a monologue, but a dialogue, and they focus on strength-based coaching. They don't try to pick apart the employees' weaknesses and frustrate them, but they focus on their strength. They help them to operate in their zone of strength. Oh my God, this is powerful. Next, the leadership team now, they inspire and they equip. Don't miss these words. They inspire and they equip. They equip the managers with what they need. They equip the employees with what they need. They equip the customers with what they need. So their responsibility is to inspire and to equip. We're talking about the servant leadership model, my friend. And finally, in the leader is all the way at the bottom. He's carrying the weight of the whole organization upon his shoulders or upon her shoulders. Yeah. And that leader is purpose driven. Oh my God, don't miss it. They are not power reliant. They understand that I'm not successful if the company's not successful. I'm not successful if my employees are not successful. I'm not successful if my organization is not successful. So they're all the way at the bottom and they're shouldering and carrying the weight of the entire company. My friend, that is a servant leader. So don't miss this. You're going to get a copy. Share it with your leadership team. This will change. Listen, if you get the concept in these two models right here, it can change an organization. It will change an infrastructure. And for you leaders, it will increase your bottom line because now employees become more engaged because you have flipped the paradigm of leadership. Customers are at the top. They're stakeholders and valued allies. Customer-facing employees are second. They are treated as partners and resources. Frontline managers, two-way conversationals, and strength-based coaching. The leadership team now inspires and equips. And finally, that leader at the bottom is a purpose-driven servant leader. Oh my God, I've got to move on. Good stuff. Let's talk about power and purpose. Listen, there are only two things that humans are searching for. That's you, that's me. We're only searching for two things in life. And those two things are called power and purpose. It is only those two. Now, the key is, what are they? Let me break them down for you. On the power side, when people are looking for power, it means they're looking for money. If I can get my hands on enough money, that gives me a sense of power. They're looking for wealth. With power, they're looking for influence. If I've got enough influence, that creates power. If I can get enough power, I'll have enough influence. They're looking for relationships. If I can have enough power, I will be able to control and manage the relationships in my life. So they're looking for freedom. Power gives us a sense of freedom. If I have enough power, I can chart my own destiny. I have a sense of freedom. The next thing they're looking for is perception. I want to be perceived as being successful. So if I get enough power, then people will see me. I will have a perception of success. Oh my God. And then controlling circumstances. You know, power just simply means to be able to control your circumstances. That's what power is. I am able now to control my circumstances. Now on the purpose side, they're looking for meaning. Purpose means I have found the meaning for my life. They're looking for fulfillment. I feel fulfilled in my life when I have found my purpose. The next thing they're looking for is value. You know, when you want to become a person of value, you have to find your purpose. And now no one can devalue you because you understand your purpose and you have found your value. They're looking for significance. If I can find my life purpose, I can contribute in this life and I feel significant. They're looking for that my life matters. I want my life to mean something. I just don't want to float through life and pay bills and die. So purpose inside of purpose, it means now my life matters. And finally, I'm looking for my uniqueness. I want to become unique. I don't just want to be the same person over and over, but I want to be unique. So they're looking for their uniqueness. Don't miss this. Such a powerful slide. So remember, people are only searching for two things: power and purpose. Now let's talk about this next thing, the secret ingredient of service or servant leadership. It is called listening. It's the secret ingredient. It's something we've been missing, and I want to give it to you in this section right here. Now, the power of listening. I want to give you 5 things to listen for, my friend. Now, we're not talking about leadership that is positional. It doesn't matter whether you have a position or a title. We're talking about the power of listening, and that is the secret ingredient of becoming a great service leader or a great service person. Now, here's the things I want you to begin to listen for. Number 1, listen for pain. When people are talking, you can often hear the pain in their voice. There's some reason why they've said what they said or they responded a certain way. It's because they're feeling pain. In this time of COVID and civil unrest, a lot of people are in pain. So I want you to begin to listen for pain. Number 2, we have to listen to understand. There are insights, there's wisdom, there's things that we can glean out. When we learn to sit down and understand, when we talk less and learn to listen more, we can understand where a person is coming coming from. So powerful. The next one is listen for insights. There might be something we can glean out. You know, our decisions and the choices that we make and the things that we do in a company, oftentimes the solution to problems can come from someone who's at many levels below us. So don't think servant leadership means I have to be over someone. No, I'm humble enough to go around and ask and then listen for insight so I can learn something new and it might can change my paradigm. The next one is we have to listen for sources. Now, this simply means I have to listen for where the pain is coming from. Where is the joy coming from in the person? Can I sense the source of why they would be frustrated, why they would be heartbroken? So listen for sources. Finally, number 5, we have to listen for problems. My friend, there are problems hidden, and the only way that you're going to be able to solve problems as a servant leader, as a great communicator, is you have to be willing to listen for problems. You got to ask the right questions and then sit back and listen for problems. Oh my God, these are so powerful. Listen, if you just practice these every day, you will become a great servant leader and a great service person. Again, number 1, listen for pain. Number 2, listen to understand. Number 3, listen for insights. Number 4, listen for sources. And finally, number 5, listen for problems. So I've got to move on. The next thing I want to talk about, servant leadership is not a position. I want to give you the truth about leadership because we think that leadership is a title or a position. Well, Adam, I don't have a title. I haven't been assigned a title by the company, so I'm not a leader. That's an untruth. Let me give you the truth about leadership. Trapped in every person, every single person, my friend, that includes you. Every person is a hidden leader. So I don't care who you are, what your title is, what your background, what your culture, you have a leader that is trapped inside of you. Watch this. Every human has the instinct and the capacity for leadership, but most don't have the courage to leave the crowd and cultivate. There's the problem right there. It's not that you're not a leader. It's not that you don't have leadership ability hidden inside of you. You have that hidden leader inside. The problem is it takes courage to be a leader. It takes courage to walk away from the crowd, to stop hanging out with certain people. It takes courage to blaze a new trail where people haven't gone before. So that's the key, my friend. You have leadership in you, and I want you to know it. You are a servant leader by nature, by default. But watch this. You have to develop the courage to leave the crowd and cultivate it. So powerful. Watch this. Every human being was born to lead. You were born to lead. But watch this, to lead in the area of their gift and not over people. There's the thing right there. You have a special, unique gift inside of you. You're a great communicator. You're a great project manager. You know how to bring people together. You're a great networker. Whatever your skill set is, that is what causes people to become attracted to your leadership, not the fact that you have a position or a title. So powerful. Your gift, my friend, is what attracts people to your leadership. So it is that inner gift that you're born with that a company didn't give you and a company can't take away from you. That gift is what develops you into becoming a great leader that others want to follow. Man, so powerful. Let's move on. Now I want to give you this truth. Please don't miss this slide. Leadership is not a pursuit. It's not something you chase after like money or success. Leadership, my friend, is a result. It is a result of who you have become. Listen, a title or position doesn't give you greatness anyway. Look, it is not the title or position that makes you great, but it is what greatness you bring to the title. It is bringing yourself to the position, and that's what makes the position great. So it's the other way around, my friend. It is not the position that gives you value. It is you who gives value to the position. Oh man, don't miss this. So leadership is not a result. Leadership is a result. It's a pursuit. It's not a result. Excuse me. It's not a pursuit. It's a result. Now, let me tell you this. Crisis produces opportunities to emerge as a leader. Now think about this. We're in a time of crisis. We're coming out of COVID. We've dealt with racial tension and civil unrest. Think about this. But crisis, my friend, is a time for your leadership to emerge. Listen, Martin Luther King is known. You would have never known who Martin Luther King was if it was not for a crisis in civil rights. Man, don't miss this. Mahatma Gandhi. You would have never known who Mahatma Gandhi was if there was not for a crisis as he fought for the freedom of India from British rule. Listen, both of these gentlemen, watch this, did not have a position or a title. These men demonstrated leadership by who they were. Listen, they were not a governor. They were not a president, but they demonstrated leadership. Christ has only created an opportunity for their leadership to emerge. So I don't want you to miss it. So powerful. Christ is my friend. This is the time. This is the window for your servant leadership to emerge, just like Dr. Martin Luther King, just like Mahatma Gandhi. All right, let me move on. I want to give you quickly the service, 8 most important characteristics of a servant leader. All right, here's number 1, listening. We talked about it. A servant leader spends less time talking and more time developing deep listening skills. Number 2, empathy. They truly feel what others are feeling, the ability to put yourself in someone else's shoes. My friend, are you that servant leader? Are you truly putting yourself in other people's shoes and feeling what they're feeling? That's what servant leadership is all about. Number 3, it means they have healing. They support others physically, emotionally, spiritually, and intellectually. So I know that's you supporting people in all of these different areas. That's servant leadership. Another characteristic of a servant leader is awareness. They are self-aware now. They're conscious of how their emotions and behavior affect those around them. Are you watching your emotions and your behaviors? Are you building people up, or are you tearing them down? That's a characteristic of leadership and servant leadership when you are self-aware. Don't miss that. Number 5 is persuasion. They use persuasion and influence to gain buy-in as opposed to authority and force. Are you trying to force people to do things, force people to see it your way? That's not a characteristic of servant leader. A servant leader knows how to use persuasion. They know how to use influence to get people to come to them, to me in that movement, to be a part of what they believe in and what they see. So persuasion is a characteristic of a servant leader. Here's number 6. They have foresight. They develop the ability to predict the outcome, understands how to study consequences instead of decisions. Don't miss this, my friend. Listen, from today forward, the first thing you do as soon as this presentation, I want you to begin to study consequences instead of decisions. If you can live with the consequences of your decisions, then the decision is easy. Man, I just gave you a powerful piece of wisdom. Let me say it again. If you can learn to accept the consequences of your decisions, then, my friend, the decision is easy. So from the day forward, I don't want you to study the decision. I want you to study the consequences, and the decision becomes easy. That's a characteristic of servant leadership. Number 7 is stewardship, one of my favorite words. It means accountability for others. I'm responsible for the outcome, this strong ability to govern, to manage, and to lead. My friend, you have to be a good steward if you are a servant leader. You know, when you're taking care of lives, you're taking care of families, you're taking care of people, you, my friend, are a steward over other things. You are a steward over resources, and that's a great characteristic of a servant leader. And finally, number 8, it means commitment. Committed to the growth, development, and improvement of other people. I didn't say to your own commitment. You should be committed to yourself and to your own development. There's nothing wrong with that. But a servant leader takes it a step further. They are committed to the growth and development of other people. Remember what we said? A servant leader exists to develop other people. So powerful. The new normal. COVID-19. Life as we know it has changed. This is a fact. The COVID-19 pandemic has created uncertainty in our work and our family lives. It can be difficult to adjust to this new normal. From physical distancing to practicing good hand hygiene, these have become part of our daily routines. We have to wear the mask now. We can no longer walk around without the mask, and many restaurants and places are operating at 25 or 50% capacity. So our world has been disrupted. This new normal has brought a change in our life, in our work, in our relationships, and in our environment. A rapidly changing environment has meant a greater need for us to be agile and adaptive. Don't miss these words, my friend. We have to have become more agile and more adaptive. This is challenging, and even more challenging for those of us who don't change at the best of times. Being overwhelmed and feeling like we aren't in control of our lives can lead to frustration and burnout. So, my friend, it's a time where we might feel frustrated. I know what you're saying to me, Adam. It's been tough. I feel frustrated. I feel burnout. But I know by the end of this session, I've got some things that are going to inspire you, that is going to uplift your spirit and encourage you to keep going. So you might feel like quitting, but don't quit, my friend. Wait until this presentation is over. I've got some stuff for you. So let's start with this right here. Is the first point to get a new perspective on the new normal. It's a new perspective that we have to acquire. The new normal must not be the lens through which we examine our changed world. We can't look at this new normal through that lens and say, oh my God, what is going to happen now? We have to change our perspective. We should use our discomfort to forge a new paradigm instead. So the discomfort is an opportunity to create a new paradigm shift in our life, in our family, in our work. It's an opportunity. So we have to begin to change our perspective. A new normal ushers in a mindset and understanding that the way we've been doing things before may not have been working, and it's time to make some changes. So maybe the old structure, the old way of doing things was not effective, and now here comes COVID, here comes a crisis, and it creates change. Here comes a new normal. It has come to allow us to do things differently than we've done them before. We have been doing things over and over the same old way. We are not open to new ideas. We don't want to change. We like staying in our comfort zone. Oh, don't ask me to change anything. We're not interested in any new ideas. So now here comes crisis and COVID and a new normal. So now we have to adjust and be open now to new ideas and concepts. We want to stay comfortable and keep doing things the way we have always done them. Discovering and uncovering new normals should have been our work all along. My friend, we should have been discovering a new way of doing things all along. We didn't need COVID or a crisis or new normal to come and change us. If we had been focusing on developing and coming up with new concepts and ideas and ways of doing things, we might have been a little bit more prepared. So that's what this is now. It's time to change our perspective about the new normal. This is a powerful slide. Instead of waiting for disruptive changes to happen, we should be looking for new ways of doing things, new concepts, new patterns, and new ideas. So the number one lesson I want to start with right away to give you this is that we have to learn how to embrace a new normal with a new perspective. So the lesson is to embrace it. Don't run from it. Don't back away from it. Don't shy away. We have to embrace it. And the way we start to embrace it is we got to get a new perspective. It's our view. It's our vision, how we look at things. We have to see it a different way. Let's talk about some principles of change. Again, we're talking about the new normal and how to adapt. You can't adapt to a new normal if you don't understand some principles about change itself. So let's take a quick look at the principles of change. And here's the first lesson I want to give you. To everything, there is a season and a time to every purpose under the heaven. Oh man, so powerful. That's right from the King James Bible. So let me say it again. To everything on this planet, there is a season and a time to every purpose under the heaven. Listen, my friend, COVID has an expiration date. Your stress and frustration to work, it has an expiration date. It cannot last. Why? Because it is a season, and everything that sits under the heavens, that sits on this planet, has an expiration. It cannot last. So bad times don't last, my friend. This is good news for you. Frustration don't last, my friend. COVID cannot last. We've dealt with all types of viruses and 911 and all these things, and we still have bounced back every single time. So I want you to understand about this season. It's not the end of the world. It's not the end of your career. It's not the end of your life. This is only the beginning, my friend. It's getting ready to change seasons. And you're in Michigan like me. Listen, you know we go through 4 seasons. There's a springtime. In wintertime, everything is frozen over. It looks like nothing is going to be birthed. But here comes spring. All of a sudden, new birth comes. The trees begin to bear their leaves. The grass begins to grow again. Listen, we're coming into a new season. So don't allow this season to stop you in your tracks. This is only a season, my friend, and it's going to change. That is a lesson powerful for understanding about change. So then, Adam, what does change mean? You gave us a principle about it, but what does it actually mean? Let's talk about what change means. Let's define it. The first thing that change means is a turning point. It's a turning point for the better or the worse. It's time to make a pivot. My friend, this change has not come, this new norm has not come to destroy you, but it's time for you to make a change. You have to pivot from one area to another. If you've ever seen a basketball player coming down the court, they'll pivot to the right or they'll pivot to the left and they'll trick that player out. The opponent doesn't know which direction they're going in. My friend, you got to make a pivot. COVID won't know which direction you're going. Stress won't be able to find you because when it thinks you're going this way, you'll pivot and go this way. That's what we have to learn. This means it is a turning point in your life, my friend. The next thing that change means is a moment of truth. That means we have to confront the truth. It means we have to confront ourselves. So it's a moment in space and time, my friend, right now. We're in this new norm. We have to confront ourselves. Maybe we were not studying and learning and developing ourselves the way we should have been. Maybe we got our lives out of alignment and misprioritized, and we got to put our life back into alignment or put our work back into alignment. So this is a moment of truth. The next thing that change means is transformation. So powerful. A social conditioning requiring transformation of cultural patterns and values. So my friend, it is time to look at things that maybe your organization was operating in this pattern or operating in this condition, but now it's time for change. It is not optional, it is required. So change comes not to destroy you, my friend. It's saying to you, look, it's time to do things a different way. You must have a metamorphic transformation process. Just like you saw that butterfly. It started as the cocoon, but you saw the progressions of change. And when it got done, it blossomed into a beautiful butterfly. That's you, my friend. You have to make a transformation. Finally, change means opportunity, a chance to do something that has never been done before. Hidden with an opportunity, my friend, are options. So look, again, we talked about perspective in the first slide. You have to see this season of life as an opportunity. It's not a time to get discouraged. It's not a time to quit. It's not a time to give up. You have to see the opportunities that are hidden in this season. The only way you're going to see them is you got to change your perspective. It is time for a new, that's how we're going to deal with this new normal. So again, defining change. If you understand these definitions, listen, you can rehearse this and know this is my approach every day. Number one, it's a turning point for me. Not for worse, but a turning point for the better. Number two, it's a moment of truth. Number three, it's a transformation in my life. I've got to transform like that, like the butterfly, from the cocoon to the butterfly. It's time to transform my way of thinking, transform my mindset, transform how I've been doing things. And finally, it means it's an opportunity. Change just simply means it's an opportunity, my friend, to do something you have never, ever done before. So powerful. So then, Adam, what does change? Why does change happen? You explained to us what it means. You broke it down beautifully in definition. But tell us, why does change have to happen? So important. Watch this. Change comes to improve and to advance your life. Listen, you would never grow. You would never advance in life to the next level if it were not for change. How can you get from one point to the next? Change is the transportation. Change is the pathway that leads you from this where you are now to becoming better, to becoming stronger. So listen, change does not come to destroy you, my friend. Change has come to improve and to advance your life. So powerful. Change, my friend, breaks tradition. Don't miss this. Listen, we've been doing things the same way. We've been doing it this way for 40 years, Adam. I don't want to change now. That's tradition. But here comes change now. Here comes a new normal. Here comes COVID, and it breaks our tradition. We can't keep doing things the same old way. Tradition is the greatest enemy of change. So it is the traditions that block us from getting new access to new things. It blocks us from being successful. It blocks us from having greater relationships in our life. So watch, don't miss this. Tradition is the greatest enemy of change. And don't miss this last point. Tradition is frozen success. Oh my God. Look, tradition is you celebrating a 10-year-old trophy. You're following a 10-year-old email of congratulations. We stay locked in what worked last year may not work this year. What worked in the old normal is not going to work in the new normal. So we have to understand our traditions has kept us frozen in a point in time. And we have to break out of tradition and be willing to try something new. This is so powerful. So again, tradition is frozen success. It leaves you suspended in a moment in time. We have to break out of tradition. One of the greatest threats to self-development, growth, and improvement is comfort. Don't miss this. Let me say that again. One of the greatest threats to self-development, growth, and improvement is comfort. It's you staying in your comfort zone, my friend. It's you being comfortable, not willing to make any adjustments or changes. And then COVID comes now. New normal comes now and says, that's okay. You didn't want to change last year or 2 years ago. I'm going to force you to change now. That's what this is all about. Not to destroy you, but to strengthen you, to let you know I've got to come out of my comfort zone and do something I've never done before. Now watch, I want to talk to you about how eagles learn to fly. And it's called Fly or Die. If you know anything about me, you've been following me, you'll know that I love nature. When the country was open, I traveled all over the country. One of the places I like to visit was zoos. I always like to go to the zoo so I can see animals in their natural habitat. So it's a pleasure, because I just believe that we can learn so much from the laws of this planet, from nature, from trees and grass, and most importantly from animals. They can show us about life. And so I've studied about eagles, and I've got some great information as it relates to COVID and crisis. And I want you to stay with me on this, and I want you to understand how eagles learn how to fly, and their method is called fly or die. So look, here is the first thing that happens. When those baby eaglets are in that nest, and it's time for them to begin to spread their wings and fly, the first thing that the mother eagle does is she begins to dismantle the nest. She begins to take apart the nest and say, listen, you've been sitting in the nest the longer. Look, the nest represents your comfort zone, and that mother eagle is crisis. That mother eagle is change, and it says, listen, you've been sitting in the nest for too long. It's time now. You haven't had to hunt. You haven't had to look for food. Me and Dad has gone on and went hunting and brought food back. You just been sitting comfortably in the nest. But the mother eagle says, look, I love you, and I know your wings have potential. So I'm going to start taking apart the nest. That's what COVID is doing, my friend. That's what this new normal is doing. It is dismantling the nest. It is dismantling our comfort zone. It is dismantling everything we've ever known. And now it's time for us to fly, my friend. It is time for you to fly. That's the first lesson. So the mother eagle says, listen, you've got to spread those wings. You were born to be an eagle, not sit in a nest for the rest of your life. So it starts taking apart the nest so those baby eaglets can get ready. Now that's not enough. It doesn't just stop with taking apart the nest. The next thing that the mother eagle does is it takes the baby eagles and it pushes them near the edge of the nest and say, listen, I'm going to give you a little assist. I'm going to give you a little push so that you can take off and begin to take flight and begin to fly like I've been flying. And so that mother eagle says, in an act of love and knowing that they were born to fly, she gives them a little push near the edge of the nest and say, it's time for you to fly. That's, my friend, what the new normal has done for you. That's what COVID has done for you. It has pushed you to the edge of the nest. It's time for you to jump and begin to fly. You have wings. It's up to you. You cannot stay in the nest any longer. New normal has come as that mother eagle to give you a little push, and you've got to get out of that nest. Now, here's the most important part. The third thing I want to tell you about eagles is, so she dismantles the nest, and then she pushes those eagles near the edge of the nest. And here's the third thing that mother eagle does. It is said that if that baby eagle begins to flap its wings and it takes off from the nest, and if that eagle cannot fly, it begins to descend down that mountain and it cannot get its altitude going, it is stated that that mother eagle will not swoop down and pick that baby eagle back up. It will either have to fly or it is going to die. Oh my goodness. I hope you're getting this today as it relates. Listen to what I'm telling you. Listen. When you jump from that nest, you may not always see the bottom. Maybe you feel like your wings are flapping and you're going down, but you got to keep flapping your wings, my friend. You have to fly and not die. So listen, COVID says, I know you're out here. I've pushed you out of the nest, mother eagle, but listen, the reason why COVID is here, the reason why new normal is here is because it's time for you to fly. When you jump from your nest, you have got to flap your wings. You can't do anything. Just sit there and watch it happen. You got to fly, my friend. That's what I need for you today. Learn from the lesson of the eagle. So powerful. You have to fly and not die. So powerful. Let me move on. I want to talk to you about life's gifts. Life's gifts. Life gave you an amazing gift of a new day. Here's another perspective I want you to get. You have been blessed with one more day on this planet. You've been blessed. You're watching this right now, so that means that you're alive. The blood is still flowing through your veins. So life has decided to give you a gift, and that gift is called a brand new day. Many people who are on their last breath who would give anything for such a miraculous gift. Listen, I buried my father less than 2 weeks ago of me actually recording this session for you. My father took his last breath just 2 weeks ago, February 20th, 21, at 10:30 in the morning on Saturday. He took his last breath. He would give anything to take one more breath like you're breathing right now. You still have a life. So instead of seeing the stress and the worry of the surroundings, it's time to get a new perspective, my friend. You are still here. You're still living, so you have to make your days count. You can't get discouraged and give up. My father would give anything to regain one more life, one more breath, if he could take it again. So don't miss this. Many people are on their last breath, will give anything for such a miraculous gift. I watched my father when the hospital said, you've got 2 weeks to live. And then they came and said, he's got 1 week to live. And almost to the day, almost exactly 1 week, he took his last breath. So I watched Dad fight for his last breath. And that's the gift that he would give. If he could accept another gift, it would be the gift of life. So don't miss this point. It's so powerful. Your home is the dream of a homeless person. Your job is the dream of the unemployed. Your family is the dream of a lonely person. Your freedom is the dream of someone locked up in prison. They would love to be free like you today. Your health, my friend, is the dream of a person in the hospital. I watched my dad fighting for life in and out of the hospital I was visiting, and each time hooked up to machines, he was fighting. So your health, my friend, is the dream of a person in the hospital. Being aware of this, how can you use this new normal as an opportunity and as a gift? How can you see this time and season as we talked about, change means opportunity? How can you, instead of seeing the crisis, instead of seeing the stress, how can you turn your burnout and say, wait a minute, instead of me being tired, let me see the gift of today that I've been given? Because I see other people have lost. You could have been in a hospital, you saw people breathe their last breath. You got to turn here and say, wait a minute, I'm going to find new strength in seeing today, the gift of today, and I'm going to use it as an opportunity to do something great. So powerful. Now let's talk about snake skin. Snake skin. You say, Adam, what do you mean in snake skin as it relates to the new normal? Let me show you. Snakes shed their skin to allow for further growth and to remove parasites that may have been attached to the old skin. So when I was a kid, I used to always wonder about snakes. They shed that skin and it seems kind of icky. You might be saying, oh, Adam, I don't like snakes. That's icky. Well, I don't like them either. But let's learn from the lesson again, nature teaching us about skin. So again, snakes shed their skin to allow for what? Further growth and to remove parasites that may have been attached to the old skin. What are those parasites? Adam, here's the parasites. Old mindsets that we have that need to change. Old habits that we've been using that need to be broken. Old patterns that need to be disrupted. We've been doing the same thing over and over, and now it's time to shed our skin because those parasites are not attached to us, my friend. They are attached to that old skin we've been wearing. We got to shed the skin, which gets rid of those parasites and allows us to develop a new mindset, develop some new habits, create some new patterns. People that have been eating away. As my friend, you've had people that have been attached to you that have been sucking the life out of you. They are energy stealers and dream killers, and they're stealing your ideas. They're taking your concepts. They're taking your energy. You wonder why you're tired. It's because you have the old skin and people are attached to that skin. Well, my friend, it's time to shed that skin so you can get rid of those people that are parasites. So powerful. The snake grows. Watch this. But the skin does not. It gets to a point where the skin can't grow anymore. Oh, please don't miss it. So the snake is growing. Listen, you have been growing underneath your old skin all along. You've been developing all along, but you've got to shed the skin because the skin is maxed out. It can't grow anymore. It's got parasites attached to it. But this new norm, my friend, has come for you to shed your skin. You have been growing all along underneath, but you've got to get rid of the old skin so that growth can emerge. Listen, your friends can't grow any further. The people you've been hanging out with can't grow any further. The environment you're in can't grow any further. You've got to get rid of those are all the skins and the parasites because underneath, my friend, you've got some new growth. You've got a beautiful new skin lying underneath. Don't miss this lesson about snake skin. A new layer of skin grows underneath the current one. Growth happens underneath the old skin. That's what I'm talking about, my friend. It's growing. All along, we're growing, we're developing. We may have good skills. We may have new ideas and concepts. We may be ready to tackle a new workforce. But at the end of the day, we've got to first get rid of our skin. So don't miss this. You got to get rid of those parasites. It's time to shed your snake skin. So powerful. Now let's talk about your why. This is so important in the time of a new normal, in time of a COVID. We're going to have to consider tapping into our why. In times of challenge, change, and crisis, we must call upon our why. Your why is why you do what you do. Remember why you are doing what you do. Why do you get up every morning, my friend? Let me ask you. Why do you put up with the stress and the frustration? It's someone in your life you're doing it for. It could be your children. It could be your spouse. It could be for a parent. It could be for yourself. But you have to understand when times are tough, when a new normal emerges in our life and in our work, in our career, our family, we have to go back and tap into our why we're doing what we're doing. Find the deeper meaning to your life. life, your work and your relationship. There's a deeper meaning, my friend. You're not just getting up, going to work, paying bills and dying. No, you're serving a greater purpose and a greater meaning. And that's what needs to emerge. That's what you need to think about and reflect upon in your quiet time, to say, this is why I'm doing what I'm doing. And that fuels you, right? Your why is the fuel that will keep your engine of life running even when you run out of steam. So when you get tired, when you get frustrated, look at those pictures of your children on the wall. Look at that picture of your spouse. Look at that picture of your grandparents. Whatever your motivation and source is, you got to look at it. So it is the fuel that'll keep you going even when you're tired. What is your why? So let me ask you this question. What is your why, my friend? I'm talking to you. What are you doing it for? You know, I do these slides and videos. I made a vow and a commitment to my dad. I would keep giving my best even after he had passed away. So I have a deep why that drives me to do what I do. What drives you? What is it that drives you to keep working, keep showing up at work and keep giving vaccines and helping patients? What drives you? What motivates and inspire you? These are the questions you need to answer because they will help you to tap in and find your why. I want to tell you about a guy by the name of Buster Douglas. February 11th, 1990, Mike Tyson fought Buster Douglas at the Tokyo Dome. Tyson, the undisputed heavyweight champion, lost to Douglas, a four-time loser and underdog. So Tyson walked into this fight and said, listen, he is the heavyweight champion, undisputed. It is guaranteed he's going to knock this dude out, right? He was fighting Douglas, who was a four-time loser and the underdog. Watch this. Douglas was knocked out by Tyson in the 8th round, and the world said it's over. He was saved by the bell in that round. So here comes, just as the world predicted, just as they anticipated, Tyson in the 8th round, he knocks Buster Douglas out and he stumbles back to his corner, gets back just in time to save the bell. Watch this, round 9. Douglas fought his way back and knocked Mike Tyson out. Man, that's just so powerful. When asked how he beat Tyson, he said his mother died 2 days before the fight and had told people her son would become the boxing champion of the world. Oh my God, is this not tapping in? Why? So he went back to his corner and says, wait a minute, I'm not going to allow my mother to be alive. My mother has died, but I'm not going to let her dream die. She told people that I was going to be the heavyweight champion of the world. So he went back in round 9 and he knocked Mike Tyson out. Listen, you have to fight back sometimes in life. If you don't, COVID will knock you out. A new normal will knock you out. Listen, crisis will knock you out, but you've got to fight back. You got to come back. Maybe you've been knocked out. This is your 8th round. You've been knocked out by COVID, knocked out by stress, knocked out by frustration. But listen, my friend, it's time to come back in this 9th round, and you have to knock COVID out. You've got to knock stress out. You've got to knock this new normal out and fight back. That's what this is all about. How did he do it? He found it in his why. He said, listen, my mother, she died 2 days before the fight, and I'm not going to let her die. He came back from being knocked out. When the world said it's over, he'll never get up again, he came back in round 9 and he knocked Mike Tyson out. My friend, that's tapping into your why. So powerful. Buster's why was stronger than the knockout. He called upon his inner why to win the fight. So don't miss that. His why. Is your why stronger than what's coming against you? Is your inner why stronger than the external forces? Oh my God. Are you able to overcome and say, I'm going to dig deep like Buster, and I'm not going to let these things knock me out. I'm going to knock them out. So powerful. Now let's talk about chapters in the book of life. Chapters in the book of life. The new normal, my friend, you need to see this, is only a chapter. This is only a chapter in your life. It's not a final notice for you. It's not the end of the book. Pay attention. It is only a chapter in your life. This is only a moment in history. This moment in season. We talked about change in season. It's a seasonal thing. This is not a permanent. Every chapter has a beginning, a middle, and an end. You got to understand this. Your chapter, my friend, has a beginning, a middle, but this chapter that we may not be like and we may not want to stay in has an end. Remember I just told you, change has an expiration. You won't always be in this chapter, my friend. You must keep writing and you must keep reading. The book's not over. You got to keep writing the new chapter in your life. The contents of this chapter is going to be up to you. How you respond, how you react. If you let things take you out in this chapter, you'll never be able to get to the next chapter. You got to keep writing. You've got to keep reading in your book of life so that you can get to the next chapter. What will you write in this season, my friend? What does your book contain? Is it complaints? Is it filled with frustration and worry? Or is it filled with strength? Does it feel like Buster Douglas with your why to bounce back? I want to tell you about Oprah Winfrey. You might know her, Oprah Winfrey. Oprah had a troubled past that included promiscuity, drugs, and pregnancy, my goodness, at the age of 14. She reported that her baby died shortly after he was born. She was repeatedly molested, oh my God, by her cousin, her uncle, and a family friend. Not one person molested Oprah, but 3 different people in her family. Her transparency about her struggles have made her more real and approachable in the eyes of the American public. Oprah turned the pages of the chapter in her life that spell failure. Don't miss this, my friend. If Oprah can do it, so can you. She turned the pages on failure. Today, she is one of the richest and most influential women in the world and owns her own television station, the OWN network. Look how she turned if she had stayed in the chapter of losing her baby, if she had stayed in the chapter of promiscuity and rape and molestation, if she had stayed in the chapter of losing her baby, we would have never known who Oprah was. But she stepped up and said, I'm not going to stay in this chapter. I'm not going to stay in the chapter of COVID forever. I'm not going to stay in the chapter of struggle forever. I'm going to overcome this and move to the next chapter of life. If Oprah did it, my friend, you can do it too. There is no difference. So let's talk about now pressure versus power. Pressure versus power. Pressure, more than ever in our lives, and under pressure. We are under pressure. Our families are under pressure. Schools are under pressure. Our organizations are under pressure. Our leaders are under pressure. We are at the point of breaking. I know this is you, my friend. But watch this, power. But other people are snapping back, seeing opportunities where there is crisis, taking advantage of a layoff to chart a new career and more. They are turning pressure into power. That's you, my friend. You have to know how to turn pressure into power. I'm going to tell you. Now watch this. Let me ask you a question. What do the following have in common? Tell me. Diamonds, lemons, olives, grapes. Crisis and change places a demand on your potential. Listen, when diamonds are put under pressure, they increase in value. When lemons are squeezed, they produce that delicious lemon juice. When olives are squeezed, that's that delicious olive oil that goes on your salad. Listen, when grapes are pressed, oh my, it produces that delicious wine that you pour in your glass with dinner, with your spaghetti. Come on now. All of these things have one thing in common. When they are put under pressure, when they are squeezed, something comes out of them. Something oozes out of them that they didn't even know they had. So again, read that last line. Crisis and change places a demand on your potential. So my friend, this season has not come to tear you down. This season has not come to destroy you. It has come to place a demand on your inner potential. Listen, you got more potential than you have. Psychologists have said we only use 10% of our true potential. That means we die with 90. My friend, don't die with the 90. You have so much more potential. And this season of COVID and this new normal has only come to squeeze your potential, squeeze something good out of you, just like that diamond, just like those lemons, just like those olives, and just like those delicious grapes that produces a delicious wine. My friend, under pressure, pressure has come for you to turn it into power. So powerful.
Well, that's it. Right on the money. It's all done. I know that there's a lot of content you're able to draw away. I'm going to stop sharing so I can see all of your lovely faces again. I hope you thoroughly enjoyed that presentation, and we're here. Any questions? I will do one more thing. I'll do a quick share just to show a couple of questions we could seed in, and then if not. But if you have so kind of here's some questions I came up with at the end that we could kind of discuss. Or again, if you have your own comments or feedback. First one just says, what are the 1 to 3 takeaways from today's session? Was there a leadership takeaway, a managing change takeaway, personal, professional development takeaway, any other? Can you share that in this session, 1 to 3? Number 2 says, what are 1 to 3 action steps that you can take starting now to improve your leadership, personal development, or professional development? For example, I'll improve and practice the 5 things to listen for. I will make a conscious effort to mentor others, whatever that be. Those are just examples. So I just wanted to share that. with you. I can leave that up for a minute, or again, I can read the question again. So I think I'll stop and I've talked enough. It's time for you guys now.
I guess I'll take an opportunity to kind of expand on something I mentioned in the chat. First and foremost, that was amazing. And I'm so glad that we were able to capture you and your wisdom. And I know that the people that I know on this call, I can definitely feel that they have felt something that we as service providers haven't felt in a while. I personally have found myself, like, to cope with the stress, I have found myself putting up boundaries that, oh, I'm gonna get emotional. I found myself putting up boundaries that kept me from working as hard as I know I can work, because I was so afraid of the burnout that I felt in the last 2 years, that in order to keep my own sanity and keep going, I've like cut myself short every single day. You know what I mean? So instead of putting in a 10 or 12-hour day, I'll cut myself off right at 8, even though I can work. I know I could work for a couple more hours, and Lord knows I have the work to do. I've been like self-preservating, I think, longer than I needed to. And now I have a lot of guilt for that. And this was kind of like the fire under my ass that I needed to be like, okay, Queen, yes, you've been through some hard shit the last couple of years, but you need to pack up and move on from the self-preservation phase and get back into high gear. And this was a really nice reminder of that. So thank you.
That is amazing. So you're saying it right on the money. And that's what the session was about. We need sometimes someone to come along, like you said, put that fire underneath and say, listen, you know, we all have faced some tough years. Me the same. I shared in the veil, lost my dad. But we have to keep moving forward and continue to bounce back. I'm so proud of you for saying I've set boundaries. That is powerful. I'm not going to work myself into a burnout. Listen, if you don't take care of yourself, how can you take care of anybody else? So the number one priority is take care of yourself. And you know what I do? For me, what works for me is getting up earlier. Sometimes it's having that moment of prayer, that moment of mindfulness, that moment of meditation, whatever works for you. And that's how I maintain my sanity. Before I give other people the most important part of the day, I give it to myself and my creator. I don't let anybody else take the most important part of my day. So that's early in the morning. It could be 3 a.m. Now, I'm not telling you to do this, but that's just me. This is how I have the energy, the passion that I do this, because I found a secret. The most important, listen, here's something you can tweet. He who controls the morning controls the day. So if you can control your morning, not roll over in your bed, watch this, check your phone, check your email. You know, an email is just an organized system of other people's agendas. That's what they want you to do. But how about you start your day with what you want? Maybe it's not prayer. Maybe it's exercise. Maybe it's making a healthy breakfast. You got to pick what works for you. But once you find the secret, you stick to it, and that will get you. So Chelsea, I'm very proud of you. I'm not going to say what. Who else would like to share? That was beautiful feedback.
Well, I would just like to say that I thought the presentation was just awesome. I'm got about 4 pages of notes, so my little hand was busy. And I do view myself as this type of leader. And I think sometimes being in upper management, being a servant leader is hard because of the old traditional ways that people are, they expect you to direct and just, you know, just have your thumb down on everybody's neck and just do. And then when you come at them in a way where you make it where it's, no, we're a team. We need to do this together. What do you need from me to help you do your job better? I know, you know, me being new in my position, I've only been here and where I'm at for 4 months. So, and during this time, I lost my sister, so who was my absolute best friend. So it was harder for me because I had to keep going. I couldn't take that time because I was on a newer job to take that time to actually just be like, okay, let me get myself together. I only had a limited time that I could be off because I'm like, I'm on a new job. I got to keep going. But I was thankful that my team was very supportive of me. And I think that was because I was, supportive of them during their times when I was, meeting with them, just when meeting one-on-one. I changed some things with versus doing group meetings. I do one-on-one sessions with each of my people each month, just so to give them that time. Okay, how things going? What do you need? Do you need additional training? How do you feel like you're doing on your job? Just to give them that time to vent, because like I told them, when I meet with everybody one-on-one, everybody is like crickets. Nobody wants to talk. Nobody wants to seem like they're not doing their job. And I do believe that this type of leadership role is very, very much needed in today's society. And I feel like you have a more productive workforce when you try to maneuver this way in your company versus the traditional way. So I really thought your presentation was just awesome. Thank you
so much, Monique. And listen, you already did the field test. You proved it, right? You said a powerful thing that we can all take away. You said, when I served others and my time of bereavement came, they were there to serve me. Isn't that what servant leadership is? You're not serving to try to be great or get fat. No, you're serving because you love people, number one, from your core. And people can feel that when you really serve them, when you really care about them. All of a sudden, when you go down, people are there to lift you up. And trust me, I know I've been there. Can you imagine having to still motivate people when your dad is gone, your hero's gone? I lost my dad. Come on. I know where you at. I feel you. We lost people in this season. So I understand it. But the beauty is you are able to keep going and you practice servant leadership in the good times, and servant leadership bails you out in the tough times, man. Beautiful. Beautiful, Monique. Thank you. Who else?
Yes, thank you, Miss Chelsea. Thank you, Miss Monique, for sharing. I don't know if there's even the kind of response to what we received today. I think we all are feeling it. I'm watching our body language, and I see the wheels just going off for all of us, because as Mr. Adams said before, we've all had to step up in leadership in a way that at that particular time, other people were depending on us while we were still maybe, being pressured. We were the grapes, or we were that olive or that diamond. I got some nuggets, some walk away nuggets as well for my personal development, as well as my professional leadership development. So this was by far a little bit more than I was expecting, I wasn't expecting to be fed so much. So when you walk away feeling like you got about a year's worth of opportunities to make that change, to pivot, to think about your why, to think about your purpose and things like that, man, that was a great morning. And Adam, we thank you for spending some time with us this morning. Thank you for opening our session with just nothing but positive and great vibes. And for all of that, if we could just give him spirit fingers to say thank you, thank you, thank you. We appreciate you being here with us this morning. Thank you so much. At this time, we're going to conclude the opening session, the first day of the LeaderLink Summit. Don't forget, come back for a little self-preservation at 4 o'clock. If you can, come on back, bring your snacks, bring your favorite beverages, and we're going to have a little fun with some networking reception. You can use the same Zoom link. So if you're available, please come back at 4 so we can have a little bit of our networking reception. And again, you can use the same link. Adam, thank you. You got a friend in ours. We love you, bro. We love you. You have been inducted into the Ours family now. We love you. So thank you so much for being here. Everyone have a great rest of your afternoon, and we will see you back at 4 o'clock.